Music is a vehicle that can take you anywhere you want to go, anytime you want to be there, no matter what you do, why you do it, who you choose to do it with or for. Music will ensure that the moment is always just right. The saxophone is the luxury sports model of all vehicles that insists that you experience the ultimate groove that sets the mood for whatever you choose. Mighty Horn Music presents the COVID Concert Series with saxophonist Travis Bridges. Live from the Hollywood home studio. Smooth jazz, top 40, R&B, inspirationals, and more. Thank you for tuning in. You are now on a musical first-class journey to anywhere you want to be. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Swym, Pwym. I am your host, Travis Bridges. Here's hoping you are having a wonderful evening. Guess what? I am, in spite of all the challenges I've had over the last couple of days, and I will say the last couple of days, meaning the last couple of hours. Hey, out! My dog must know when I'm live because he started acting real funny. Anyway, as I was saying, the last couple of hours was a little stressful. I am never late. I've never been late. I've been playing saxophone since I was 10 years old, and I've never been late for a gig. I don't even call this late because if you are, a supporter / fan, friend of mine, you are here with me and you understand, right? So do I get a pass? It's totally beyond my control. And nobody's paying, so I don't feel like I'm hurting or harming anybody. So I'll give myself a pass. Thank you very much to myself. Anyway, this is Swym Pwym. Swym Pwym is say what you mean and play what you mean. It's a spinoff from the COVID Concert Series, which is not on, it's just on delay for right now. I'm preparing for some big moves in the future, and my studio is not down, but it's kind of out for the moment. So I will be continuing the Wednesday night portion of my talk segment, and this is it right now. We're going to be on time. I do have, a caller that I'm going to talk to in just a few minutes, but I'm going to talk about what I'm talking about. I'm talking about talking, and I believe it's important to communicate. It's not always fun, and the primary reason I am convinced that we have the issues we have in our lives is because we don't talk enough. Some way, somehow, we get irritated, we get frustrated, and somehow another, I don't know, pain is familiar. And when we find the comfort place, that's where we'll leave it. And even if someone is willing to communicate or chat, another person may say, I don't want to because of whatever reason. But I think it's important to communicate. Again, you don't always have to agree and you don't always have to like it, but it's important to communicate and communicate through the end, not to the end, but through the end. And how do you communicate? By just simply talking with as level a level head as you can. It's not always easy because when someone gets on your nerves, the first thing you want to do is say some words, and you just have to if you can. Not everybody can. That's why I'm trying my best to step up to the plate to do the best I can. If you are a friend or a fan or a supporter of what I do, check me. I'll be okay with it. I want to talk about, how to have those hard communications. You have to have those communications when you're ironing out facts in order to try to get to the proof, by having some grounds to stand on. And the grounds that I believe in standing on are, first of all, universal principles. Those are things that are already set, that can't be changed. You have points of references. Those can fall under certain kind of laws or certain kind of contracts or certain things that people actually agree on. And, I want to say common sense, but I won't. But for lack of a better word, until I come up with a better one, I'll just say, common decency. There are certain things you have to measure certain standards by. And it's important to do that even when you don't feel good, even when you don't like it, even when you're mad. You have to find that place to say, ooh, and smile about it and come to that place of where you can get to the table, whether it's your husband, your wife, your brother, your sister. Sometimes nations need to come back to the table and look at what's just decent, you know basic principles. You don't always have to like it. And when you throw in your personal agendas, your personal beliefs, your feelings, your emotions, it starts to get out of hand. And before you know it, you're off track and you're way out in left field. And before you know it, there's a war. And then there's a fight. And that's the opposite of peace. Who wants that? Our monk is with me. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. My buddy Anthony Morrow is in the house. Thank you, Mr. Morrow. I appreciate it. Let me explain to you, Tony, what happened. I was traveling, and my ride was a little bit late, so I'm still here, and I'm gonna get my caller on the line. But if you have something you want to say, please type it in there, and I will respond to it. By the way, if you'd like to chat with me, I'd love to chat with you about anything. You can talk to me directly, or you can just put a subject together that I will do my best to address. I believe in my heart that I've been, I don't know, called or anointed, whatever you want to say, but I want to discuss things, and I'm going to pursue it until I don't pursue it anymore. A really dear friend of mine bought me a book this week from TD Jakes, and it's called Don't Drop the Mic. Man, it's good. It's good. It's good. I've never been a reader, but I've been reading this book because I am on phase 1 of 75 Hard, and it requires that I read at least 10 pages. Well, today I read about 40 pages because it was just that good, and I'm getting better at reading. I'm enjoying it. I'm able to digest some of the information. But this book is really good. And before I get my caller on the line, I have maybe 35 minutes to go because we are running a little behind. I did make some notes this week, and I want to talk about trouble. Trouble is, like trouble, the process of pain. How would I say this? Another bee got in my bonnet, and the word pain came up. So I started making some notes, and I just want to talk about it. It's not going to be my subject. I'm going to get my caller on in a few minutes, but I just want to go through some notes that I made up, and it will definitely be a part of one of my live streams. But these are the notes that I put in there, and it's the subject, I guess, would be pain, and it says, like trouble, pain doesn't always last. So you know that song, I'm so glad trouble don't last always. Well, pain doesn't either. It's just like, sweating after or catching your breath after you run. After you run along, a run or a short one like a sprint, when you first stop, you're like, or if you, do exercise for a long time, you're sweating and you're wet. But you dry up and you catch your breath after you run. Pain is the same way. It's a response to something we endure. It doesn't last always. And just because you're breathing hard doesn't mean you go and do something bad. Same thing happens with pain. You have to be okay and understand, well, where is it coming from? How do I deal with it? Sometimes pain and trouble is there to show us something that maybe we need to see. And instead of responding directly to the pain, maybe we should take a break and look at, well, why am I feeling this way? How can I avoid this pain? What can I do to help myself with this pain? Or, as I said, I have another example, or bleeding after a non-threatening cut. Like if you scrape your finger or something, immediately when you see the blood, you have to stop and you have to, maybe run some water over it. We used to, back home, put alcohol on an open wound. Why we did that, I don't know, but I guess it, has some kind of, way to sanitize. But then you stop the bleeding and then you put the Band-Aid over it, and you might have a scab for a few days, maybe a week or so, maybe even a scar. But it's not that initial pain, it's not the blood, and it does pass. You can't freak out when you have an incident. You've got to do that woo-saw thing. I don't know why I'm doing that, but you got to count to 10. You have to do what you can do to come back down from the initial blow of something that shakes your emotion. Healing after a traumatic emotional experience is very natural and normal and even healthy. if it's in moderation and doesn't disturb anyone or anything else. So if you're, having a response to some kind of, something that you experience, it's kind of natural because it gives you a chance to reset. If everything was just cool all the time, we wouldn't be able to even exercise, our emotions. I'm not saying don't respond to them, just don't respond, crazily, if you can help it. Not everybody can, and I'm still working on it myself. And I have an example here about the Black Panther. If you saw the Black Panther movie, you remember when he was like, doing his thing, and when he would get shot, he would absorb those bullets and he would turn those shots into power. Well, that's the way emotions and pain is. Sometimes, when we have a situation, some people will have different reactions. Certain personalities thrive in misery. Others use obstacles to gain momentum. What I'm saying is like the Black Panther when he would get shot, in the movie, he would turn that power, those bullets into power. And I'm just saying maybe we can take that advice, when we have, situations, instead of being mad about something, use it as power. And as it relates to me, I'm just kind of using examples. I kind of was that kind of person, and I still am, and I'm working on myself. I used to cry a lot, all the time, when something would happen or somebody would do something or I have an incident. I would cry and be wondering, well, why did this happen? Why did they do that? Why? That's what I would do. Well, I'm kind of sort of tired of crying. Um, and I'm just accepting that I am a victor and not a victim. I don't want to be sad because I can't control. Um, oh, thanks. Our monk said I get a pass. Oh, back to my point. I don't want to be miserable. I don't want to be sad or mad about something somebody else did or said or a situation that happened, something that I cannot control. And I don't have to go run off and leave everybody either just because I'm mad. I can still be the communicable human being that I was created to be, and still say hello to my brother or my sister uh, or your husband or your wife, or if I had a wife, again, that would be great. But people in your circle, whoever it is, your coworkers, your neighbors, when you have an incident, go check yourself. And then come to the table and try to figure it out. And if you can't, sometimes you just can't. Then you, of course, by all means, when you've exhausted all of your options, and that a person is, not willing then to rest with you, then go on, do your thing, move on, get on with your life. So as far as for me, I'm tired of crying, I'm tired of hurting. I am choosing to not be offended so much, and I'm just going to move on. So when I endure pain in whatever aspect it is, it's time for me to check myself, and I pray to the good Lord that I have the ability to go in myself and find what I need to endure. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get my caller on, and we're just going to chit chat, and that's what we're going to do. So here we go. By chance, if you'd like to chat with me, I think I said this already. TravisBridges2 at AOL.com. That's Travis Bridges and the number 2. If you want to talk with me, or have me talk about something. Again, I'm not trying to be a counselor. I'm not trying to be anybody's judge or anything. I just believe I've gotten better at mastering the ability to remove my emotions, thoughts, feelings, and beliefs from circumstances. And if I don't, again, I don't want anybody to prove me wrong, but talk to me. I like examining things to the end, examining all options, and just like the court system says, to the jurors, look at what's presented. Don't look at how you feel, what you think, or what you believe. When you examine, facts definitely lead to the truth. And if you have your thoughts, feelings, emotions, too much involved, you don't get to the truth, or you end up with more stress, whatever it's called. Anyway, get my caller on, and we're just going to chat a little bit. And I hope my caller has been listening. Woohoo! Woohoo!
Hello.
Hey!
Hey, how are you, my friend?
I'm not doing bad at all. You're always there for me, and I appreciate it so much. I'm gonna buy you lunch this week. Can we go out?
Yes, we can on Friday.
Okay. Let's examine that. I have.
You know what? You freaking kill me.
Oh no! Wait,
You
hold on.
know,
Wait, hold on. Let me hold on before you get on my case. Guess what happened to me today? I got a gig on Saturday out of thin air. So
that's fantastic.
yeah, I have a gig. Things are starting to pick up, and I'm so grateful for that. So Friday might be tough for me, but we can see. Maybe
You
we.
better cut it out. You need to cut it
How
out.
about we do an early lunch on Friday? How about that? I know you like
No,
to eat it.
I prefer early
I know
anyway.
that's what I'm saying. It might work out. So let's do noonish on Friday and see how that works. But I have a gig, man. I'm playing on a yacht for an event, and I got it booked today, and they already put the deposit in. I was like, what? So
Oh,
I'm happy.
fantastic.
So yeah, I've got to get my stuff together and go and let them have it. But hey, were you listening to the live stream before I got you on the phone?
Yes, I was listening.
Let me tell
I
you.
was listening to some of it. Yes.
So this book that my friend got me, it's from TD Jakes. It's called "Don't Drop the Mic: The Power of Your Words Can Change the World." Well, I think it's perfect timing for me, and I think God had my friend. Can I say God on this radio program or internet program?
Of course you
Um,
can. It's your business.
yeah,
You can
yeah.
say whatever.
I think God, had my friend, send this book to me, and I've never been a reader, and because I'm on phase one of 75 hard, I've got to read, and I've been reading this, and it is juicy, and it's right, right, yeah, it's right in line with what I'm doing right now. And before we get into our conversation, I want to say to my audience again. I'm just a regular guy. I mean, I'm a musician. I play saxophone. My background is in radio, and from my Hollywood home studio, I write script, I do voiceovers, and I edit. I produce radio commercials or audio commercials and some audio for TV, and I'm getting better at video editing. So that's just what I do. It's my background. I have a degree in criminal justice that I've never used, but I kind of understand the law a little bit and the justice system in my own way, I guess. I don't have to use it right now because I didn't get into law enforcement or anything like that. I thought I was going to be a lawyer, but another long story about that. But as of late, through all of my experiences, I've found that I might have something to say. I might be able to analyze situations, and I can sit still and do nothing, or I can start talking about it. And everybody else is on the internet running their face. So I'm run my face, and I don't care if I have one person or not. But I'm just kind of sort of practicing right now. I don't know where it's going to go, but I believe it's going to go somewhere. I have the unction to do it, and I'm going to keep polishing it. I don't have an intro yet. I don't have a format yet, so I'm just kind of coming on and just kind of winging it. But I have some plans as to what I'm going to do, and as you well know, I'm planning to go abroad and make some changes for the next few months. And that's when I think I'm going to polish it and perfect it. Right now, I know it's like a diamond in the rough, and I believe it's going to be good. I'm not worried about it. I'm passionate about it. I'm not nervous. Well, I am nervous. I'm not afraid. And I don't care what anyone has to say unless someone wants to challenge me again. I don't want anyone to prove me wrong. But, iron sharpens iron. And, I'm grateful that you're my friend and you run stuff by me sometimes while we're live, and even more so when we're not live, because you don't take my side on nothing. That's no secret. But I'm not going to get into that. Anyway, let's get on into it. So how was your day? How was your week? What's popping with you?
I'm busy.
Why are you so busy?
I'm working. I am doing 75 hard.
What day are you on, by the way?
Today is 38,
Day 30.
which means I am past the halfway point.
You definitely are. Let me ask you some questions about this 75 hard. Okay, clearly it's not a diet. Clearly it's not just a workout plan. Clearly it is just just like Andy says, it's a boot camp for your brain that just so happen involves those things. But I want to ask you some particular questions because, of course, I've already gone through it and I left 30 pounds behind, and I'm still, sharpening my knife and trying to get better at it. But I want to ask you something. Outside of the pounds that you may have shed and the discipline, tell me the greatest improvement outside of your body probably being a little sore and you're changing your diet. You're probably mad because of the sugar you're not eating. What outside of the physical aspects have you noticed the most change as it relates to you?
I would say the biggest thing is there's two. Um, the discipline of it.
So you're more disciplined?
Absolutely. And it's not only in following the specific task for 75 hard, but it's requiring me to be disciplined in other things, such as my preparation for my day. And this goes along with the reading that I'm reading, that I'm reading as well. It encompasses so many things. So I think the discipline that I'm working on incorporating in my life more is one of the biggest things I'm coming out of it. Two is a commitment to myself. Like, I am scared to quit, right? But I also am not going to quit on me. And that feels really good because I'm like, it's 75 days. If I can't figure out how to manage 75 days for Melanie, which is so important because I need it. I need it for so many reasons, and more importantly for my health reasons, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like I don't have a choice. I don't have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, those two things: the discipline and the commitment to me, and to know that I can do it. It's been very eye opening. So maybe that's three, but it's just a lot of different things. I can't even explain all of it, but it's just like he said, it is definitely a mental thing for the brain. It's not just one thing. It's not a weight loss thing, even though that's a byproduct of some of the, of the tasks that are being done. But it's more than that. So.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What do you think about anything else that you've, participated in? I like me as far as, weight loss and conditioning and I've tried everything. This is something totally different and I like it, which, is why I'm on phase 2. But can you tell me how this for you is different than anything else that you've even heard of or even tried? How is this different? Well, think about it. Let me tell you how it's different for me, and then you can answer that.
Okay.
It's different for me because it holds me 100% accountable. I'm seeing how I have these tasks out in front of me and, using this app, how I can check them off every day. And as you said, it's making me plan. When I wake up in the morning, I think, okay, if I'm going to get a gallon of water in, if I don't start now, come 4 o'clock, if I've got more than half to go, I'm going to be in trouble before midnight because you don't want to be drinking water before you go to bed. So it forces me to plan. So unlike just showing up at a gym or showing up to a boot camp class or CrossFit or something, that's only, well, not only it's mine too, but it's primarily a physical thing. This really forces you to plan with all the tasks involved. And I don't want to give it away because if someone, again, I'm not working for Andy and 75 Hard. I'm just, proud of what it's been doing for me. But it's just, it's different in that it's not just physical. It's just not like setting aside, portion sizes and putting them in the refrigerator. You can do that, but it's just forcing, it's causing me to be so much more accountable. So, okay, back to you. How is it different for you?
Well, I do think that definitely has an effect as far as being different from, let's say, I don't know, like a diet that maybe I participated in the past. It encompasses so much more. So yes, the preparation. Even though I have been always a person that kind of prepared, especially like my meals and stuff, especially for during the week for work, but it makes me want to be a better version of myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in order to do that, I just can't eat anything I want, because that's not going to lead to me being a better version of myself, which requires for me to prepare for things that could turn up to make me have to make decisions that I don't want to make. For example, I prepare most of my meals for every day.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that is critical for me to being successful in this, is because one of the goals for me is that I do want to lose weight. And I know unequivocally that by me preparing my foods makes it easier for me to lose weight. That also requires more work on my part to be more prepared, so that I don't get myself in a situation where maybe I don't have anything prepared and I'm hungry, and then I don't want to go into the golden arches, right? Because I feel a lot of times.
Why not?
No, because that's not going to make me feel good. Because I know that in order for me to be at my best, I have to feed myself the best, right?
Mm.
So it makes it easier knowing that for me to prepare, because I know it's all working together. It's like it's not just one component; it's all working together. There's a whole bunch of different components. Like when I work out, it's clearing my head because I have a lot of stuff going on in my head sometimes. And so the working out, especially outside, and when I try to do that, the first thing, so normally I do my first workout is the one that's outside in the morning. That helps me to get my mind ready for this day.
Right.
And that is absolutely priceless for me right now. It really is, because there's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of deadlines. There's a lot of stress, and I'm really trying to keep it together. And if I wasn't doing this, God only knows what I would be feeding myself or eating, and feeling bad because I'm eating bad, and feeling bad because the food is bad. You know, there leads to this whole bad domino effect, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
I do know.
And then feeding my brain, you know, listening to stuff. I find myself listening to much more motivational things. I find myself encouraged by things that I can do that maybe before I did not have the confidence or felt that I couldn't do. So, so yeah, there you go.
Well, I want to commend you on your 38 days, and I hope you continue to go. You know, as your good buddy, pal, and friend, I will be here if you need to call me just before you pick up that Twinkie, or decide not to go on that walk, or decide not to finish that water or whatnot. We are supporting each other. You definitely helped me, because you know last week I was about to come off the bus. So I thank you for that. I want to keep. I want to, before I let you go, I want to ask you about my topic, or my makeshift topic for tonight. But again, congratulations. Keep going. We'll talk about that some more. But you keep it up. I'm going to keep going. I'm on phase 1. It's a little different. Definitely, I can see the change. Taking a month off. And coming back is, I see why they structured it that way. But anyway, we're not going to get into that too much. Check out 75hard.com. Google it, or go to the website and try it out. It's not so bad. Anyway, I started talking about pain with the last 5 minutes, because I do have another call I'm going to try to get on. But I had some points. Did you hear my points about pain? And if you did, good. But I want to ask you something in particular. Pain. How does pain affect you? Emotional pain. What does it do for you? Does it bring you down, or does it motivate you?
Ideally, I would say it would bring me down. But listening to Andy and a couple other people, it can be used as a motivation. Mm-hmm. And I think I've done that too. But my first instinct, or my first thought, would be, it can be crippling for me.
Mm-hmm. It is crippling for most people. So you're normal, which is why I guess it came into my energy field, this week, and why I'm mentioning it right now. Once you are once you encounter, a tough situation, you have a choice. Naturally, you can't help how you feel, but you can definitely do something about how you respond to it. And I'm not saying it's easy at all, but if we don't speak those things that be not, it's going to be hard to even see them come to pass. And as I started out, Timothy Wright has this song, "Trouble Don't Last Always." Well, pain is a type of trouble, and it doesn't last always either. We have to endure through, some tough, difficult times, and it's not easy. Um, but when you're saying when it's crippling, what do you do when it's crippling? How long do you stay down? And what do you get your motivation from to get up and keep going?
That's some really good questions, and it all depends on the circumstance. I know for me, sometimes crying helps,
Definitely.
um, and sometimes that helps me just like shake it off a little bit
Okay,
or
hold on. I'm gonna
work
interrupt
through.
you for a second. Be honest now. I'm gonna always deny it, but cussing helps a little bit too, doesn't? That's what I heard. I don't know for myself, but
I can see how that can help. Absolutely,
right, you
especially when
cry a
you're
little bit.
real. Ooh, yeah, I can
Right,
absolutely can help.
a little silent cuss will help you get
Sometimes
through
it
it a
don't
little
have to
bit.
be silent. Sometimes it might be loud.
Yeah, well, I was exaggerating a little bit. Every now and if you cuss a little bit, people might accuse you of saying, "Oh, why you gotta say those kind of words?" I mean, I don't know this from experience because I have a clean mouth. But I've heard that cussing helps a little bit. But anyway, back to your point. You said you cry. How do you deal with the pain? How do you get up from that fall? In addition to crying, what do you do?
Well, I have just said, you know what? It is what it is. And sometimes you just have to push through and say, I have a decision to make. I can either sit here and wallow in the pain, but is that really going to change anything? No. Or
Nope.
I can have my moment, have my tears, and typically, so a lot of times, if I do have a really, really good cry, it does make me sleepy. So I might go to sleep.
Hmm.
And then, if that happens, typically I might wake up and especially if I go for a walk, it usually helps me to try to work through how I'm going to respond to the pain, how I'm going to deal with it. And then sometimes, things come to you and it gets better, especially if it's something that I have no control over, right?
Right.
Let's say if it's something that someone's doing to me or there's a situation that I can't control, but it's hurtful and painful, a lot of times I will come to my senses and say, okay, well, you do have a choice of how you're going to respond to this. So,
Hmm.
um,
Especially after you finish cussing and crying.
yes,
But I want to
yes,
touch on
yes.
something before you go. I want to talk about different personalities types. Just like we have north, east, west, and south. Just like we have left, right, up, and down. Just like we have summer, winter, spring, or fall. I think personalities come in, fours also. You have certain types of people, and I won't talk about the different personality types, for sake of time. But different personality types respond to pain or emotional distress in different ways. There are some personality types that will take some pain and wallow in it and will have it's like sometimes if you listen to some of your friends or colleagues or whatnot, and they're talking about an experience, some personality types get comfortable with misery, and no matter what you do or say, or no matter how much time passes, there's a pattern that they will stay in to keep absorbing the misery. And if you talk about, hey, listen, we've got to change the way we talk, we've got to change the way we sound, it just doesn't work. Sometimes it takes an extreme miracle. That's why they have couches and therapists, to reach those types of personalities. And I'm going to go ahead and admit, I want to be able to talk and analyze certain things, but I'm starting to see right away that I don't think I have what it takes to reach certain personality types, because not everybody wants it to be better. Not everybody wants peace. Some people thrive on misery. So do you see that at all? Where on the other hand, some other personality types will have some pain or have a challenge, and then just like I mentioned, the Black Panther, they will use that pain or that misery or that challenge to say, "Hey, I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna push through this." But not all personalities are the same. So I just want your spiel before I let you go. We've got about 4.5 minutes to go. What's your take on the personality types, that will thrive and get up and then become better after a terrible fall, or the ones that will absorb it and make everything and everybody around them miserable and stay in the mud? Just give me your spill on that and then I'll let you go. Thank you in advance.
Well, I definitely do agree with you. It definitely personality types will definitely dictate how someone responds to a painful situation based on their personality. If somebody's a personality that's sort of like who tend to play the victim role, right? They may internalize it, and this might be woe is me, and oh my God, the world's coming to an end. Whereas another person who is could be self-motivated, very confident type of personality, they would be like, okay, this shit happens. This is life. Because we're not going to go through life not having pain. So I have a decision to make. What am I going to do about it? What can I do, if anything? If it's something I can control, how I'm going to fix it. If it's something I can't control, let me have my moment about it, and let me just figure out how I'm going to move on from this, because how I'm going to get out of this, because obviously this is very uncomfortable. So I definitely agree. There's several different, they said there's 4 different personality traits, and all of them will probably handle painful situations different from each other.
I said pain, conflict. I'm going to substitute pain for conflict. So I'll say pain / conflict. So you were saying that different personality types will respond to conflict differently.
Yes, absolutely. Because the personality types identify our strengths and weaknesses, right? And it tells us what we would do in certain situations most of the time. There's obviously exceptions, but it definitely will tell us what we do, how we work, how we function, how we think. And I think a level of maturity as well of intelligence will play a factor in all that, as well as to how you will respond to conflict. I have a friend that's very confrontational. It seems even if she's wrong, or she wants to say something, she just has to say it, even though it may not change nothing, but it's her way to, I guess, react to the pain that this other person is causing her. Whereas for me, sometimes I'm thinking, I don't always have to communicate that you hurt me. I don't always have to say to the person that hurt me, if it's a person, that you hurt me. I may respond differently to you, but I may not always communicate that, because then I'm going to evaluate why you hurt me, or I might have my own conversation by myself.
Right.
So certain people feel a need that they have to be very verbal about how they feel to the other person. They may try to make them wrong. They may try to
hold them responsible.
All kinds of things, and or they might, that's just their way of their responding, or their maturity level and how they deal with conflict comes into play as well. So there's so many factors to that. Yeah, but I definitely think that different personalities treat conflict so different.
So listen, we only have a minute and a half to go, maybe 2 minutes, but I want to thank you again for being there for me and hanging out with me. I'm going to go ahead and close. And in closing, I do want to say I'm not sure why I got on pain. I think I do remember, but I just want to say to myself, to you, and to anyone else that's watching or listening, it's okay to have conflict. It's okay for things to cause us to not feel good. But we have to find a way to get up from the fall. If we stay in the fall, nobody wins, because it affects everyone around us. And there's something about energy. You just can't get away from it. So I'll just say, to myself, to you, and to anyone that, is open for encouragement. When you have these moments, find a way to get up. Find some friends. And it's okay to listen to things that don't always sound good. But if you find truth, and what you're hearing from a source of encouragement, try to be okay with it. Either way, get some help. There's all kind of help lines out there. If you're feeling bad, if you're sad, if you're mad, you can call somebody. There's a lot of people that want to help, people that are feeling bad or that are struggling emotionally. I think either we're just into emotional help week, month, or day. It might have passed, or it's on the way. I heard about it. But all of this has to do with our feelings, emotions, and how we respond to it. So if you're dealing with any kind of challenge and you can't seem to get out of it, find somebody that you trust and be okay with what they say until you can be okay with what you're saying. Anyway, with that being said, thank you again for hanging out with me. I appreciate you. I'm gonna let you go. I love you.
Love you too, honey. Have a good
All
night.
right, have a good night.
All right, bye bye.
That's going to do it to it for another edition of Swym Pwym. I'll be back next Wednesday. I apologize for the tardiness. It was 100% beyond my control. Till next week, find somebody you need to say I love you to and do me and yourself a favor. Don't just say it. Find a way to show it. And when you have conflict, it's okay. Be mad, be sad, cuss if you have to, cry if you need to. Don't hurt anybody. But find a way to get back on the horse and ride off into the sunset. Okay? Till next week, be good. Love you, and thank you so much for your support.